Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing on this evening? So, today is Tuesday. It's Tuesday night, y'all, and it is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as I try to make sure I keep my word, here we are. Listen, so this is really interesting topic for me because this is something that I actually struggle with a lot. I actually struggle with doing this a lot. And I try my best to make sure that I'm taking care of me, but I'm always taking care of everybody else first. But so like everybody have their so most people who work conventional jobs, right? So they have their Friday, they're like, woo, I can't wait for the weekend. So their weekend is like Saturday, Sunday. So most people like to chill out on their Saturdays or whatever they like to do. Friday night, they like to go out or whatever after work and all this other stuff. The Sundays are reserved for whatever else they do. But Tuesdays are my Sabbath. Let's talk about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ray Terry Project Podcast. I am your word sayer. That's always going to be funny to me. I'm always different. I always try to do something different. I'm your word sayer, Terrence. How are you guys doing on this evening? I like to say evening because that's a very quartet way of saying things. And I grew up in a very quartet household. So, like I said, so the opening of this, I was talking about how Tuesdays are my Sabbath, right? And I like to just sit out and just chill on Tuesdays and not do too much. I try to make sure, hey, what's going on, Dave? How you doing? I miss you guys, man. I miss you guys out there in Boston. Tuesdays are the days where I try my best not to do anything whatsoever. Like I try my best not to answer any phone calls. I try my best not to answer any text messages. I try to make sure that the day is solely for whatever I feel like doing, right? And there is a reason why I do that. It's because my life is extremely busy. It's extremely hectic. I always have things going on. I'm always in charge of people's success. Like a few podcasts ago, we talked about that. I'm always in charge of people's success, always in charge of all of this other stuff. And what happens is I found out that I literally get burnt out really, really bad if I do not take time out for myself. And if I'm not intentional about taking time out for myself, because man, I get irritable and stress be hitting a brother hard, bro. Like stress be hitting a brother hard when and I'm really a even keel type person, really chill and all of that other stuff. But what happens is when I don't get that time to reset, that time to like, whoa, sit back, chill out for a second and just like regroup, I get a little irritable. Like everything seems to like compile itself. Like I was just talking about last week, like everything just keeps going on, same, like all on top of each other. It seems like everything else is going on. And I found that once I started making Tuesdays my day of rest, or the day that is solely for me and for nothing and no one else, I found that I don't feel the pressures of manhood, the pressures of being a leader constantly. I don't care what anybody says. Being a leader is not an easy thing. People want to become leaders and all that other stuff because they look at it and they say, oh, because people following you and people are doing this, doing that, And it looks like it's like a place of royalty, right? Like I'll put it that way. It looks like being a leader looks like something like you just aspire to be, because you got all these people doing stuff for you, and being in charge and all this other stuff is very attractive to people. But most people don't understand the responsibility of being a true leader. Most people don't understand the weight of a true leader, because a true leader isn't in it for himself or herself. They're not in it for, all right, let's talk about church real quick. A real leader isn't in it for people to carry the briefcase or drive them around or all of that other stuff, the accolades of being a leader. A real leader is for the people. And if you really for the people, right, you carry the weight of so many people on your back. You literally carry that weight, and it's not easy. It's not easy, because now you're dealing with all of these different personalities, and now you're in charge of this and that, in charge of people's success, like I said before, because when you're a leader, you're in charge of other people becoming successful. That is literally your job, to become, like, so you don't be the only successful person in your bunch. What's going on, Justin? How you doing, brother? If you're the only successful person in your group, in your bunch, and everybody's always doing things for you, and everybody's always yazzabouts and tap dancing around you, and everybody's always quote unquote serving you, there's something wrong. If everybody is always being in that particular position in your life, there is something wrong. We need to look at your character. We need to look at why you're doing certain things, because a lot of people are trying to do things because they didn't get the love and the attention and all the other stuff that they needed as a child. So now they're adults, and they figured out they can kind of, if I get into this particular position, if I get into do this and do that, that I would have these people like kind of being at my beck and call, right? But so we're not talking about those. I spent 2 minutes on that. We're not talking about those cats. We're talking about people like you guys are a part of my village. So I tend to believe that if you're listening to me, if we're talking, if we're having these conversations together, that we are of the same cloth. Okay. So we're talking about people that have integrity, people who are like literally just standing by, like, you know what? I want to do things for the right reasons, right? So if you're an actual leader who's doing things, I don't care what it is that you're doing, but if you're a natural born leader, what you're doing, what happens is, being a natural born leader, you're going to feel that pressure, because it's like, oh my God, like you always have to feel like you're on. And when I say on, I don't mean that in a way that you're performing. No, I mean like in a way that, I'm carrying this weight. I feel like I got to make sure that everything is good. I don't know if you like me or not, but I need to make sure that everything is good. Everything and everyone around me is good. And so with that being said, you carrying all of this, it's heavy. I said this about 5 or 6 times already. It's very heavy. So that's why it is extremely important that you be intentional about setting aside time and a day for you. We have 7 days in a week, right? I choose to make sure that Tuesday, because I'm off work Tuesday and I don't really have anything church related or anything like that on Tuesdays, right? So I choose Tuesday to be my day that I am doing whatever it is that I feel like doing. If I feel like traveling, doing this, but I try my best to make sure that I'm not making any decisions, because most people don't realize, but making decisions takes a lot of brain power, because you need to make sure that you're making the right decisions. People just make decisions all the time because, they acting off emotions, because real leaders don't act off emotions. They act off data and facts, okay? So you have to be very calculated with the decisions that you make. Be calculated with the decisions that you make. So that takes a lot of brain power, right? So I choose on Tuesdays that if it requires me making the decision, I ain't being bothered with it. If it requires me to make a decision, I'm not being bothered with it that day. And it's extremely important for you to do the same. I promise you, you have to do the same for yourself, because if you're not setting that time aside, to reset, you will always find yourself in a state of anxiety, a state of anguish, a state of aggravation, because now you're constantly moving and you're constantly doing things, and you're not giving yourself the opportunity to be poured back into. Okay. You're not allowing yourself the opportunity to be poured back into if you are constantly giving out, if you're constantly pouring out. How are you getting what you need if you're empty? How are you? And then the crazy part about it is, how are you getting what you need, right? If you're always pouring out and then you become empty. That's what I meant to say. You become empty and then you become less effective as the leader that you should be. You become less effective because now you don't have anything in you to give to anyone else. If you don't have anything to give to anyone else, what are you giving them? You're giving them absolutely nothing. Think about that. If you have nothing to give, and then it's just air. You're just giving people air. Oh my God, that's crazy to me. So, and that's why it's really important. My Tuesdays are important. You pick the day of the week for yourself. That day of the week is important. Please. You have to do that for yourself, because now you're running off of fumes. Man. So I'm laughing, right? Because I'm talking about running off of fumes. I just looked at a gas tank and I was like, yo, is this going to get us back to where we need to go to? Because that joint, the gas light came on and I see no more miles left to empty. The car is running off of fumes. Yeah, that's right, Justin. You're giving out air. You're giving out air. And you're running off of fumes. And you will not. And the funny part about it is, if you're running off of fumes, eventually, yeah, I'm doing your gas tank like that, Meek. I'm doing your gas tank like that, Doc. But eventually, if you have nothing in the tank and you're running off of fumes, you will stop. You will run out of gas. So if you are not getting anything into you, being poured back into you, you are going to run out of gas. And how will you run out of gas? And you're not a car, right? No, your body is going to make you. Your body is going to sit you down. You're going to get sick. Something's going to happen to you where your body is going to make you sit down. How do I know? Because it happens to me a little too often. Because I normally don't get sick, right? I only get sick when I've been pushing too hard, doing too much. And then so it's like my body was like, okay, so if you're not going to do it, I'm going to make you. Do not have your body make you take the rest. And when your body makes you take the rest, you're going to be missing opportunities because you're not healthy enough to take these opportunities. You're going to be missing out on money. You're going to be missing out on so many things. You're going to be missing out on activities. You're going to be missing out on time with people, because time is the number one investment that you'll never get back. And you can't get this time from people or from your loved ones because you on the sick and shedding list because you didn't listen to your body. You didn't take that time. Listen, I'm telling you, all leaders who do not know how to take that time, eventually your body makes you take that time. And that happened to me way too often, way too much. And I don't want to, and this podcast is life, lessons, and laughter. Man, my life, I live this life of just constantly going, constantly feeding everybody, constantly doing. When I say feeding, I don't mean literal food. You weirdos. All right. Constantly making sure that people are good, constantly giving things to people, constantly doing for people, constantly making sure that everybody else's stuff around me is successful except for mine. And then boom, my body every time shuts me down because I never gave myself that time to recuperate. I never gave myself that time to get back what I've given out. And when you don't take time for your wellness, you're forced to take time for your illness. Man, you see that? You see what Meek wrote? I need y'all to like what she just said, because that is crazy. Because she'll tell you, my body has done it several times. And I've been on this kick for the longest. My first day off, my quote unquote Saturday from work, my first day off is my day. And it doesn't belong to anybody. And I do not apologize for that. Only because I know what happens to me when I do not take the time, when I do not invest in that time for myself. You have to invest time for yourself, y'all. Man, so life sat me down. I was 25 years old with a heart attack because I was doing so much stuff. So much, under so much stress, under so much pressure, doing this, making sure I showed up for everybody, and my body sat me down. Still didn't learn my lesson, because right after I got out of the hospital, I went to a service. I didn't learn my lesson right away. I learned my lesson later on in life, but I did not learn my lesson right away. Can you imagine me walking all slow into a church service? Man, the old church would tell you that that's something that, oh, God is a healer. He is a waymaker. You need to bring yourself to the house of the Lord. Blah, blah, blah. This is a sick. No. No, get your rest, Doc. Church will be all right. Your job is going to be all right. Everything that you do will be all right. Take that time. Everybody will survive. Hear me. Those who are responsible for other people's success, those who are responsible for the trajectory of other people's lives, they will be just fine if you take your day. I'm telling you, everybody will be. What's up, Doug? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Everybody will be fine when you take your day. You need at least out of these, because it's so crazy that we need to be, and you right, they will replace you tomorrow, man. All right, so listen, all right, I'm going to stop real quick. I'm going to tell y'all a story. I'm not going to say names, but if you're from where I'm from, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So it so happened, I sat down on a Wednesday. I was having lunch with a very well-known musician, man. From where I'm from, right? Having lunch with him. And then he was asking me for pointers about, like, yo, I want to be able to do this, man. I want to be able to tour. I want to be able to play for this person, do that person, and blah, 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 blah. And I want to be able to do that, man. Like, how do you do it? And I said to him, bro, just do it. He's like, but how can I, what did he say? Well, I'm trying to think of his right words. He was like, but, like, I'm at my church every Sunday and all of that stuff. And I said to him, bro, I promise you, if anything happens to you today, they will have somebody else sitting on the organ on Sunday. And when I tell you, man, this spooked the crap out of me. That brother died on a Saturday morning. Right after we talked on that Wednesday, he died that Saturday morning. Young dude. And guess what? Sunday morning, somebody was on that organ playing. Justin, you know who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Somebody else was on that organ Sunday playing. So when I tell y'all, everybody will be all right, take your day. Do the things that and that was crazy. I never openly said that story. I never openly told that story because, people are just professional mourners when people die. I just talked to them. I just did this. I just did that. I'm not that type of cat, man. I don't like people who be doing that nonsense, man. So I don't do that type of stuff. So this is the first time I ever told that story. And real talk, it was me, him, and his cousin that was sitting there. So if you ever want some truth or validity to this story, we can ask the cousin about this. She was sitting at that table with us that Wednesday in New Haven. We was hitting at that, what's that, the racist breakfast place? Denny's. Where you get served the N-word and pancakes. The new Denny's is Cracker Barrel, y'all. And I need me an N-word with those pancakes with the crust on the outside. Oh, they so good. All right, that's enough of that. So I know I shouldn't have laughed after that type of story, but I'm me. So life lessons and laughter. So anyway, at the end of the day, y'all, take your time, take that day. I know following your dreams has nothing to do with what I was just talking about, but because of that story, it's really important for me to tell you that tomorrow is not promised to any of us. Whatever dream that you have, 7, you stupid. Whatever dream that you have, Do not die with that dream. Pursue. Even if that dream doesn't come true, you can never have that shoulda, woulda, coulda. You could be like, you know what? I did it. I tried it. I didn't achieve it, but I tried it. Try it. Push, because nobody cares. Nobody will care. You will be replaced if something happens to you. So take your day. Take your time. Even like I always talk about, like, what I'm trying to, what I'm accomplishing now with my job, right? And they want you to be there all the time. You got to be there all the time. You got to, make sure that, you don't leave until the operation is done while you're in this program and all this other stuff. Last night I didn't do that. So what happened was I was doing so while you're working, right? Throughout your career and your time with Delta, you have to do what's called AQT, which is like computer learning, computer training. It's just reoccurring training every year, right? And so what they do is one day out of the year during your hire month, they take you out of the operation and you be in this dungeon in front of a computer. and 7, make sure you get your AQT done too before, so they don't put you in a dungeon. So they put you in this little dungeon so you could do all of your computer work. So I took my time to get it all done during my shift, right? So when I went upstairs, it just so happens that where I do it, it's on my concourse. So I can't just skate out the door. So when I go back upstairs, everybody see me. So I went upstairs yesterday after I finished my computer learning, and they were like, "Hey, Terrence, oh man, we're in y'all don't understand what IROB means. We're having a lot going on. I'll just put it that way because I don't want to use airport jargon because y'all don't know what any of that stuff means." So they was like, "There's a lot going on. We have a lot of delayed flights. We have a couple of flights canceled. Can you stay tonight?" Guess what I did? Because today was my Friday. Today is my day, my Sabbath day. I said, "Nah, can't do it, Doc." And they were just fine. They got the job done without me last night. You have to remember, people will get the job done without you. You need to take your time. You need to take your day. If you do not take your day, your body is going to make you take your days. That one day that you're supposed to take is going to be elongated. I'm telling y'all. What? Never mind. I'll ask you Delta stuff later. I was just about to ask you, what was your hire date? We're not talking about Delta tonight, 7. Oh, see, I almost got back into supervisor mode just now. See, listen, and it's hard when you're a leader. It's hard because I'm about to start asking her questions I shouldn't even be asking her right now because we ain't at work. Life lessons and laughter, y'all. Listen, so I'm almost done. I'm almost out of here. I need to get a little bit of rest. I got a plane to catch in the morning and then be back in enough time to kind of go to work and do my thing. All right, so like I said, y'all, be intentional about the time that you spend for yourself. Nothing and no one else matters during that time. Everybody will be fine. Everybody will be okay. I promise you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. Everybody's going to be okay if you are not available for a day. Oh, wow. I'm a rapper. Everybody's going to be okay if you're not available for a day. What's wrong with me, y'all? I'm in a silly mood, y'all. But seriously, though, everybody's going to be fine. Take your time. Because then everybody's going to be looking crazy if something happens to you. No. And not even looking crazy. Some people kind of probably won't even care. Let's be honest. Some people won't even care. People will go on as usual. Their day will tread along. I'm tired and delirious. No, I'm not. You will be fine, y'all. You will be fine, and everybody else that is connected to you will be fine. You will be able to give of yourself at your optimum level if you give yourself rest. So, thank you guys so much for these 26 minutes that you've given me of your time. Like I always say, time is the number one investment that you will never get a return on. And I thank you for giving me your time. So I'm going to see you guys again next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Yeah, it's okay. You can catch the replay, Danielle. So I'm going to be really honest with y'all. I am no problem, Doug, man. You already know what it is, man. Like all of the mistakes that I've made, everything that I've encountered, I'm going to be giving it to y'all. So y'all don't feel like you alone, that you the only person that went through this, man, because we not. I always thought that I was the only person that felt this way. I thought that I was the only person that went through this. I thought I was the only person that people constantly pulled on. I thought I was the only one until I started speaking up. I started speaking up, and I'm seeing you guys in the comments like, yo, I was there, or I'm there. Thank you for that. I don't feel alone anymore. And you guys literally make me feel like I'm actually saying something that's worth listening to. I really appreciate y'all. So like I said, next Tuesday, I try to do this every Tuesday, guys, at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm really big on my quality, right? So I'm going to be honest with y'all. Next week, it's not going to look like this. It's not going to be this at all, because I am not going to be in my beautiful edifice. I love looking around when I say edifice. And I'm not going to be here in the layer next week when I do it. I'll probably end up doing it from my phone, which is cool. It's good. It's cool. But I'm going to be somewhere next week, and I am not going to rob you guys or rob myself of the promise I made to myself to do this. I'm almost ready to talk to other people, to have conversations with other people on this. I'm almost ready. I just I'm still working myself out. I'm still downloading information about me before, I get other people to come on and talk to me. So again, thank you guys so much. I am going to see y'all next. Yeah, you're right, Meek. I'm not going to rob myself. But my quality is not going to be what it is next week. I'm going to do the very best that I can to make it look as good as I can. But it'll be somewhere special, though. So we'll see. Not unless y'all want to just send me like $4,000 a night, and I'll get a dope on the road rig that will look just like this. So bless the man of God tonight. No, I'm joking, y'all. I'm joking. I'm going to get it myself. So you guys have a good night. Again, thank you so much for your time. We've been on this now for 29 minutes. Again, thank you for your time. Man, I love y'all, man. Thank you.